Hey everyone, welcome back to the Encrypted Capital Recap for Friday, March 5th. First off, I got no more Bitcoin effect. MicroStrategy stock falls by 50% in 17 days. This year has been crazy. We are starting to see a lot of the crazy price movements that we have been seeing in the cryptocurrency market for the past 10 years is now happening in the stock market. Let's go ahead and look. Michael Saylor's been quoting all over the place, buying Bitcoin, doing his thing during this whole time frame, thus increasing the price of his stock to $1,300 from roughly $300 at the beginning of this year. So you're talking about roughly a 4.25x gain on your money. But this was all when he was buying Bitcoin, and now you're sitting down roughly 58% if you're buying at the top during that crazy hype campaign where he was talking about how his company was adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. This is the game of deception. This is how the game is played. You get all the retail traders on board to buy what it is that you are selling. And that's exactly what took place. So, this is why we say do not chase the pump. Do not follow what mainstream media is saying. Do not listen to D-bags like Michael Saylor, who's artificially pumping up the price of his stock because he's quoting all over the place, talking about how awesome Bitcoin is. This is basically where you guys get slaughtered here. But not my contrarians, though. My contrarians, you guys know not to listen to these tools because they are not in it for your best interest. We are. Next up, what do we got? Ripple's Asia expansion unaffected by SEC lawsuit, says CEO. Brad Garlinghouse has now said the company's activities in the Asia Pacific region have not been affected by current regulatory troubles in the United States. This is very important. As we know with Ripple, they are not just based here in the US, they are expanding globally. A lot of their trades take place outside of the US. A lot of their clients are outside of the US. So, as we said, most likely Ripple will be unaffected as a whole when they come out of this SEC lawsuit. It says despite being in the middle of a $1.3 billion lawsuit with the US SEC, it appears that it is still business as usual for Ripple. Speaking to Reuters on Friday, Garlinghouse revealed that the company has not suffered any negative blowback in the APAC business theater amid the current SEC lawsuit. He says, the lawsuit, has hindered activity in the United States, but has not really impacted what's going on for us in Asia Pacific. In December 2020, the SEC charged Ripple, which we know, and now it says that Garlinghouse attributed the absence of any fallout to the company's good standing with regulators in the region, stating, "We have been able to continue to grow the business in Asia and Japan because we've had regulatory clarity in those markets." And regulatory clarity is coming. If you guys have done your research, you know exactly what Ripple stands for. You know exactly what market they're targeting. And you know they actually have a very good use case. And you also know they've raised $10 billion. And you also know they just raised their Series C round. I'm sorry, they did not raise $10 billion. They are currently valued at $10 billion. Probably more because that was last year. They're probably valued at more than $10 billion right now. And they raised their Series C round of $250 million, which is the last round before a company goes public. So, my contrarians, you guys, you know how to do your research. Do not follow the herd. Oppose and reject popular opinion. When the mainstream media is telling you something, you should definitely look at the other side and figure out for yourself if what they're saying is actually true. Next up, speaking of truth, 22% of Goldman Sachs clients supposedly expect Bitcoin to exceed $100,000 in 12 months. If we learned anything from the last bull market when it was getting super hyped up and it was climbing from $600, $700, $800 and it reached $20,000, if you guys remember during that time frame after Bitcoin broke $10,000, $100,000 was the call. They were calling for $100,000 on all the major news networks, CNBC, MSNBC. They were even showing people how to buy Ripple at the very top of the bubble, which we've shown you guys in previous videos. They literally came on and told the public how to buy Ripple at the very top, $3.40. These guys are not in it for your best interest. So when I start seeing $100,000 floating around again for Bitcoin, I'm not too sure. Guys that I trust, like the blockchain backer, are calling for $70,000 to $80,000 Bitcoin. He's been pretty accurate in most of his calls. Not saying that Bitcoin can't hit $100,000 or higher this next bull run, but I'm always always going to be looking at the other side to see if there are better investments to be made, in which my opinion there definitely are. It is about to be alt season, and this is where you guys should be looking to make massive gains. You should not be looking at Bitcoin to do a 10x and go to $500,000. I'd be looking for something like Tron to do a 10x, which, is still, what are they, like 80, 75% off their all-time high. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I know that a 10x from here would just bring Tron to their all-time high. I'm not saying that I'm pumping Tron by any means. I'm not even sure if that's the best project around, but I will tell you that I know who's backing it. Justin Sun. I do know he's a billionaire, and chances are he's probably going to be greedy and want to get his coin well above 35 cents. There are plenty of other ones to look at. I even think Ethereum has some left in the tank. But again, these are the top cap coins that have already made huge moves. You guys need to find what people are not talking about. For instance, you have this tool over here, Susie Orman. Who cares what she thinks? She's on mainstream media. We don't like that. We don't listen to people like that. We do our own research. Now all of a sudden she's saying, I love Bitcoin. Again, their tunes are changing conveniently when Bitcoin hits $50,000. Where were they when Bitcoin was trading at $3,800? Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. They could not tell you to buy Bitcoin at that time because guess what? This is part of the Bitcoin hype campaign. They work for the news networks who are owned by who? The elite, the bankers, the people that run and control everything in society. Do your research. Do not listen to someone like Susie Orman. It says in a new interview taped on Wednesday, personal finance guru Susie Orman added her voice to the chorus of Bitcoin boosters, professing her love for the cryptocurrency. She emphasized the strength of Bitcoin as an investment vehicle, but criticized it as an alternative to fiat currency, adding that the cryptocurrency is risky and its investors should be prepared to lose all their money. That's good that she said that. It is very risky. But she says, I love Bitcoin. I like the universality of it. I like that it's just there and there are corporations that are investing in it, she says. I like it as a possible replacement for gold as an investment, she adds. Are you out of your effing mind? Why would you replace gold with Bitcoin? Do you think it's a good idea to invest in a cryptocurrency that has statistically had 80 to 95% pullbacks? I do not think that's a good idea. Why would it replace gold? Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the gold chart here. Okay, do you see any crazy pullbacks in gold? No, you do not see gold dropping 80% in its bull runs. At the most, it's dropped 43%. It is now just made an all-time high, trading just above $2,000. You're looking at about $2,050 right now. I still think gold and silver are great ideas. You should be taking your cryptocurrency, at least in my opinion. Obviously, this is not financial advice, but take your cryptocurrency massive gains. Stuff some of those profits, I don't care if it's 1% or 50%, into gold and silver. That is how you can make exponential gains on your money. You are now turning that magical internet money into actual real stores of value. Look at all this volume that's came in here since 2009. Who do you think's buying up all this gold and silver? Do you think it's mom and pop, or do you think it's institutions? Question, why are they doing this? Why is all this volume coming in? Do people that are wealthier than you know something that you do not? Most likely. It is my opinion that gold and silver will shoot to the moon once JP Morgan is done rigging the metals market, once they've accumulated enough. Do your research. Find those suppressed assets. I'm showing you guys exactly what you can do to create crazy wealth. So, do your research. Find other people. Don't just listen to me. But I think it would be a good idea to at least examine these markets. Next up, speaking of gold, gold advocate Peter Schiff criticizes Mark Cuban and Kevin O'Leary for turning positive on Bitcoin. Peter Schiff is another tool, Euro Pacific Capital. He's been criticizing Bitcoin for years, saying it's a pump and dump, and the price of Bitcoin has just continued to rise from like $10 now. It's at $50,000. This dude is still toting the same story. Well, I do believe that Bitcoin is not the best technology in the world. Clearly, this dude, this gold bug, got it all wrong. Just because you're into one asset does not mean you should criticize another, especially if it's making massive gains. And at the time, it did have a real world use case, and I don't think that that use case is still valid much longer or is still valid any longer. But it's funny that he's criticizing Mark Cuban and Kevin O'Leary because that's exactly what I do. Prominent gold advocate and Bitcoin skeptic Peter Schiff has criticized billionaire investor Mark Cuban and Kevin O'Leary, and it says, what happened? Bubbles typically peak when rational investors capitulate, said Schiff on Twitter, calling them the newest skeptics to join the cult. Congratulations to those who bought Bitcoin early, Schiff says, pumped up the price, and who have been dumping into the hype. Dude, it's been 11 years now, and you're talking about at $10. It's now worth $50,000. This guy is an idiot. Do not listen to him. You succeeded in getting Wall Street to buy into the mania. When I first learned about Bitcoin, I don't think smart investors would be dumb enough to buy. I was wrong. This guy is the biggest tool I've ever seen next to Mark Cuban and Elon Musk. I don't know who's worse. It says, Schiff's criticism comes after Kevin O'Leary announced he would be allocating 3% of his portfolio on the digital asset while also looking at investing in the most energy efficient Bitcoin mining companies. There really aren't that many energy efficient Bitcoin mining companies. Can I talk today? No. It says why it matters. Schiff has often criticized Bitcoin as an asset class. Yeah, we know all that stuff. So yeah, the billionaires are changing their tune. Mark Cuban is now ready to sell to you. That's why he's talking about it. He's not telling you that he's buying Bitcoin or Ethereum when they're trading at 80% off their all-time highs. He will tell you, though, when they are breaking new highs, that he is now interested. Look here, do not look here. Have the contrarian mindset. You guys that follow me, you guys know exactly what you're doing. You know to look at the other side and not follow what these tools are spouting out of their stupid mouths. Do not listen to Mark Cuban when he tells you to buy anything. Buying the suppressed assets. I've given you guys a bunch to look into. Do your research. Next up, speaking of tools and speaking of worthless projects, such doggy, not much wow. Mark Cuban making a mistake with Dogecoin payments. It says longtime crypto bull. If you guys don't know, Mark Cuban is now letting people pay for tickets and merchandise with his Dallas Mavericks basketball team. This is the biggest joke I have ever seen. This coin is literally worth nothing and only has value because people say it does. And the people that say it has value, Mark Cuban and Elon Musk, they're probably best friends and are ready to sell you all the doggy coin they've been accumulating. Do not listen to this D-bag who was bashing Bitcoin just the other year and is now all of a sudden have Ethereum and Aave in his wallet and is now letting his stupid fans pay for their tickets with literally a dog shit coin. Do not trust these guys. It just gets funnier and funnier. I love coming into work and just talking about this because the jokes just keep on coming. The biggest joke I've ever seen in my whole life. Anyways, with that being said, I think that's about to do it for this edition of the Encrypted Capital Recap. If you guys like me bashing on billionaires, hit the like button. If you guys want to subscribe to our Substack newsletter, do that. You guys will find some valuable information in there. So have a great day, and we will catch you all in the next video.